is iYikKam time again. So after I share the 4 momentum zone or 4 fighting zone videos, I have received many messages and also have get into discussions with a few Wing Chun friends. And the following 2 questions is a general questions which people ask me, and I like to share my response to everyone. Okay. So the first question is that is it necessary to have 4 fighting or 4 momentum zone? Doesn't it that fighting is just fighting? Why make it so difficult? Okay. So the answer to this question is this. First, we need to know the bottom line of traditional Chinese martial arts fit to the physical world and the modern science today. It is about momentum, because it's about moving object when we do fighting. So momentum, fighting is just a change of momentum, exchange of momentum, and momentum keeping changing. Okay? Now, because our momentum is keeping changing, there are various group of the basic type of momentum. Okay? So instead of getting fuzzy or getting confused of different people mean different things, even at the general Qi Ji Guang time, he categorized those stuff in his design, which you can read in the book of the 1650. Okay? Now, one word we need to be careful here on momentum is that about 100 years ago, starting about 100 years ago, some so-called internal art guy, Neijia guy, somehow get into this theory of this magic secret jing or fa jing, which is travel off tangent on what is the traditional Chinese martial art is about. And get into big mess up to today. So the Chinese traditional martial art is in a big mess because of this group of people is practically distorted what's going on. Start to get off tangent to those of secret qi, secret jing, all this kind of thing, okay, which is not even what the teaching in the ancient. Okay, it's not what the Chinese origin teaching is about. Okay, now, so we know about momentum. This is critical, okay? So, at every momentum, you have the mechanics to support the momentum and the techniques to support the momentum. Okay, so the bottom line is momentum, because fighting is an exchange of momentum. You need to be able to handle momentum. And due to there are various different type of momentum, there are various different type of momentum zone. That's why there's 4 momentum zone, general 4 momentum zone come in. Okay? And every zone, the momentum in every zone have its different mechanics and techniques. So one cannot say, hey, fighting is just fighting, momentum is just momentum. There's no such thing. And usually when people get into that, will be really confused about different stuff. They will talk about jing, techniques, fa jing, and all this mysterious stuff, but have not a clear understanding what's going on. Okay? So as for the 4 zone, as we know, let me repeat again, you have this long fist zone. Okay? This long fist zone. And just the long fist zone itself, it have different style of how to handle the momentum in the long fist zone. For example, we have this type of long fist zone momentum. characteristics or uniqueness. You have this type of thing. Okay, you have this type of thing. So you have different type of momentum handling even within just the long face zone. Okay, you have this, you have this, you have this, you have this, you have this. So you see, this is the long face zone. There are so many different there, and each of them come with a different mechanics. The guy who do this type of mechanics is a different type of mechanics than doing this type of mechanics. It's different. However, this is within the long face zone. And it's of sure different with this mechanics, different with this mechanics. Okay? This is all long face zone. Now, the guy who do in the short strike zone, of course it has its short strike mechanics here. Like we talk about the Wing Chun, the retract mechanics, the twirl mechanics. Same with the going down to the takedown, the zone 3 takedown zone, and the ground zone. They all have different mechanics and different techniques. So if it's not categorized this way and properly studied this way, it is a big mess. Okay? And one really don't learn much. It's like what you mean is not what I mean. Okay, it's an apple or it's pear. Nobody knows what it is, but just, oh yeah, I know this. Okay, so the 4 zone is following general Qi Ji Guang, and it is technical and scientifically sound. Okay, that's why we need that. And for the 4 zone, as you see that, it has all the mechanics and the techniques, and it is all need to learn. For example, in Chinese, martial art is named as Wu Su. Okay, Wu meaning using fighting to stop fighting. That's Wu Su is techniques or technology is better to say that. Okay, better it's not technique, so they don't confuse. So Wu Su meaning that it is a technology using fighting to stop fighting. That is Wu Su. Now, math is called Suan Su. Suan is calculating. So mathematics is meaning that it is the technology to do calculation. Okay? So both are Su. Wu Su, Suan Su. Now, we all know anybody who study mathematics, it is not just, oh, mathematics is mathematics. One has to really clearly know the 4 basic operations of mathematics, namely the addition, subtraction, multiplications, and division. Okay? One cannot say, oh yeah, mathematics is just mathematics. What are you talking about? It is multiplications, it is additions, or what is exactly one is talking about? So exactly it is in the Wushu or in the Chinese traditional martial arts. You need to know the 4 zone, the momentum of it, the mechanics of it, and how the techniques implement things. Same with when we study mathematics. Okay? We need to know the multiplications, the addition, the subtractions, the divisions, and then we can solve problems. Otherwise, how is one going to solve problems? Okay? So again, momentum is not techniques. You cannot say, oh, Tan Sao, everything has to be Tan Sao. Tan Sao is just an example. It's like mathematics. You have an example doing addition. Is it going to cover the entire mathematics? No. And mathematics is alive. It is keeping growing. That's how technology is about. You cannot have one thing solve the whole world. Okay? That's why people say Tan Bong Fok is Wing Chun. I say no. That's not true. Tan Bong Fok is just example. Some of the ancestors set it up so that it make the beginner easy to start learning. That's what it is. The real deal is one need to know to learn this 4 momentum zone, and one need to be expert in the close or sticking body zone, because that is what Wing Chun is about, sticking body short strike. Okay? So that's how it is. It's as simple as that. Okay? Now, the second question is people ask me, are you sure that Wing Chun have all the 4 momentum zone solution? I say yes. Wing Chun is expert, specialized in the zone 2 and zone 3. Okay, in its own characteristics, because there's a lot of different ways can handle the zone 2 and zone 3. Wing Chun have its own specialty there. But Wing Chun do have the 4 zone. Okay? So, how to prove? Simple. You go read the iYikKam salutations in the Red Book. Short finger, long elbow, present to the hero. This short finger is known to be a long fist, long distance techniques. Why short finger? Short finger because this type of the techniques is very lightweight, so it can perform really fast. Okay? For strike or for testing the water. This is a mansao, asking hand. And of course, everybody can know that, like the Wing Chun Biuji can be used for the long distance. They cover the long distance. Okay? The second thing is, of course, for the sticking body short strike, this short strike, we know that our receiving, our torque, all this kind of thing. Now everybody, if you're familiar with Wing Chun, you know that is the bread and butter of the Wing Chun. That's the expertise of the Wing Chun. Okay, so this is zone 2, the short strike zone. We have this techniques, right? The third techniques. So again, this one, go read Grandmaster Yip Man's interview. Even in his interview, talk about this receiving. Receiving is about you have to close in. Okay, my son. If you do Wing Chun, you don't my son. What are you doing? That's why we call Wing Chun Tip San Tui Ta. Okay, sticking body short strike or pasting body short strike. This because it is expert in this thing. Now the third zone. The third zone, again, have its own mechanics and have its own momentum, has its own mechanics, and then its techniques. Okay? Does Wing Chun have that takedown technique? Yes. So, the first type of techniques is a single leg takedown techniques. This type of techniques. This type of techniques. Okay? The second type of techniques is this type of techniques. This is a double leg takedown. Okay? And the mechanics is when you're going down, is playing with this. This, depending on the hand, you see my hand techniques different, where my location of the opponent's legs and how's my shoulder positions. Okay? Those are different. Okay? So this is like this. and this is like this. Okay? Now, so every zone have its momentum, its mechanic, and this is belong to the Wing Chun, the third zone. This is actually derived from the General Qi Guang's writing. This is called the Qi Gu Si, flag and drum momentum. Okay. In the almost the last diagram of the General Qi Gong drawing, you can see that. Okay. And one have to be careful in the General Qi Guang's writing and the drawing. In that drawing, it shows something like that, but that flag and drum momentum, it can be used going downward. That's where the takedown is from. Okay? Now, so you ask me, where is this thing come in Wing Chun? Show me. Okay? Well, you check back to the iYikKam Shilin Tao, the part 2. Kick going down. Okay, so I'm going to show you here. Kick going down. That is what it is. That's where it is. But later that turn into what? Today's popular Wing Chun sets, Cham Kyu set. Okay, so it's no longer this, but it is this. It evolved into this. But Wing Chun is this. That is what it is. Using this to hold the leg, and then using shoulder to crush him. So there's Wing Chun. And then for the ground fighting, okay? Does Wing Chun have it? Sure. We all know this thing. The iYikKam way of seeing. Okay? There is one technique. Okay, since you have the momentum, you have the mechanics and these techniques. Okay, so this is one way where you have, you know, the iYikKam. Another thing is the Guai Ma. Guai Ma type. Okay, is okay. So it is this. This is Guai Ma. Usually we do Guai Ma this way, right? That's what it is. Okay, you can sit down there. And then another one is crossed. This one's body like this. Another one is crossed this way. And of course you can go this way. Okay? This is from Guai Ma. This is the variations from the Guai Ma. Okay? Now. So you got this thing. You get this type. You get another one is this type. The opponent's like this, you slam body here. So that is the ground fighting type of Wing Chun. And If you look at this, this is the old picture from my Sifu. This is the Qi Sao Long. Qi Sao Long. It means the Qi Sao play. Get down to the Guai Ma. You get down to the ground. So Wing Chun have all of this, even though Wing Chun is good at this. Special in this play. Okay? This is all Wing Chun. So, with this, I hope you see that Wing Chun is pretty broad. Wing Chun is not what most of us think today. And Wing Chun actually following the general Qi Guang and all this evolution of the short strike art. Okay? And as for the techniques, as we see here, it's not just Tan Pong Fu. Tan Pong Fu will never cover everything. Also, it's like mathematics. The problem will grow, and the solution will grow with it. You don't have such thing as you have one solution and you can solve everything from the beginning until the end of the world. There's no such thing. Okay? In the reality of technology, there's no such thing. In Chinese martial art, there's no such thing also. For example, when General Qi Guang do war with the Japanese pirate, he has to evolve with what the challenge of the Japanese pirate is. And that's why you have all this 4 zones of training. At least after that, you can read from different Chinese martial art, classical, and all what I'm talking about here. And here I'm talking particularly on Wing Chun. Okay, and watch out. This is Wing Chun. Okay, this is nothing to do with like the other style. For example, people always confuse the Shaolin Wing Chun of Hong Kong with Wing Chun. No, what I'm talking about is the Wing Chun of Grandmaster Yip Man, not the other Shaolin Wing Chun. It's a different style, different system. Okay? Now, one has also to be really careful on this this Chinese traditional Chinese martial art stuff. That is all scientific. One cannot just borrow something like saying usual things like in the borrowing Buddhism. Oh, you need to be empty yourself, and then you talk about karma. Well, if you look at proper teaching of the Buddhism, what really the Buddha is teaching, karma simply means the influence from the past, the influence from the environment, and the influence in one's own action. That's karma. There's no such thing as this like a some kind of chi, some kind of magical stuff. It's that simple. Everything have the influence from the past, have the influence from the environment, and have the influence on oneself. And things keeping changing. Technology is like that. Wing Chun is like that. Wing Chun is growing, as you can see that from the evolution from General Qi Guang down to Shaolin, down to today. Okay? And so there's a reality. And for the sets, the practice, as my example just now, is actually you kick, you're going down. Kick and going down. But if we get lazy, you can see people doing this. Kick. Okay? They don't have going down anymore. And then, as we can see now today, it evolved this. Well, you lose your third zone. That's a reality. Okay? So, whatever I found, whatever it is we know today, is in my two books. The basic Wing Chun book and the beginning Wing Chun books. It is scientific, it according to the ancient Chinese teaching, is away from all this qi and all this magic stuff. As I said, this is the four zone, this is the reality. Be it in the east, in the west, when you get to the five, there's the four zone. You gotta face it. And different people know how to handle things in different way in different zone. Now tell me, what is this mind power got to do with this? What does it solve? What is your Fa Jing solve this thing? If one doesn't know about the four zone of the fighting, the four momentum zone, and the mechanics of it, and the techniques come with it, and the techniques keeping changing, adapt to the situations, and get the mind on this qi, this mind power. What is it solve? It doesn't solve anything. It is like the people who claim study mathematics but have no idea about the addition, subtractions, multiplication, and divisions, and keeping talking something else, okay? Philosophy. Well, that is not going to help the study of mathematics, okay? So this is what I'd like to share with you today, as I present before again and again. What I'm talking about is Wing Chun. It has nothing to do with whose lineage, who's more authentic, who's oldest. It got everything to do with we want to keep Wing Chun alive, healthy, strong, and keep evolve to become better, so everybody can be better. Okay, that is what the bottom line is about. Without that, can you imagine that when you lost touch of the reality of this four zone, and keeping go with my lineage is the best lineage. My grandmaster knows everything. I have this qi power. I have this secret jing. I have this fa jing, and I have the structural power and everything. And I have the push forward and everything. But bottom line, it doesn't solve anything within those four momentum zone. That's how serious it is. Okay? So Wing Chun West, we want to do it scientifically. Only that everybody is beneficial, and it's like university. Everybody can learn it. Okay? So this is to share with you today.